What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dog back again with the review show. I hope everyone's fit and well. And yes, another happy, smiling review show. Another one. Dave, stop, Dave. Stop.
Just having a little happy clap there, chaps.
Just a little one, just a little one. People, how's everyone? Bloody hell. It's another, like I said, another fantastic result, people. 1-0. Before we do get to this month break that I'm not looking forward to at all. But people in the comments, how are you looking forward to this show? If you are new to the channel, people, if you can do a massive favor for me, I am almost at 9K. So if I can, before the stream's done, get me to 9K. It'd be much appreciated. I want to say thank you to everyone in the last 5 years that has shown me love to the channel as well. I am 13 away from 9K. So like I said, people, if you are new, please do hit the subscribe button. I've got so much content that we are doing from now to the end of the season. And like it's been a much pleasure for everyone that has shown me love to the channel. As you know, there's only 3 of us. There's one person still missing. He's on the bus. That's what he said. So well, we are going to give him a stick when he arrives. But we're going to introduce the guest.
Bus is on a Sunday, mate.
Yes. No, there's no excuses, Dylan. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. But before we, like I said, here we go. Next to me, we've got the man himself, Dylan. How are you feeling, Dylan, at this moment?
Football-wise, lovely, my friend. Lovely. No more said about that.
Dylan, would you like one of these, mate?
Oh, mate. Oh, wait, hold on. Got one.
Oh, dude. We're not going to talk about what obviously Dylan, because we're talking about football.
No.
People in the clue, if you want to know what's wrong with Dylan, in the comments, what do you think is wrong with Dylan? We're not going to say what it is. What do you think the problem with Dylan has? Next man, at least, we've got the man himself, the talkative Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Very happy, very clapworthy, and actually, satisfied. Obviously, lovely to see you two guys, and isn't it lovely to be talking about another Forest victory and a hard-earned one, but a very, very satisfying one. And we're not bottom, chaps. We are only 1 defeat in the last 6, 4 clean sheets in that time, and lots to be. Oh. And we have 13 points, which is 2 more than the previous.
Where? Let's stop there, Dave.
Right.
We don't talk about that team on this channel because.
Okay, mate. No, I won't mention the name of the team that may not be mentioned. But Ben, let me just put the statistic out there, mate. Is that all right?
That's fine.
So yeah, I'm feeling as happy as Dylan. Maybe with some of the less painful aspects.
As well, people in love, people in comments, show some love to Dylan and Dave. And there's one.
Show Dylan loads of love. Forget me tonight. Give the love to that lad up there.
Yeah, show some people to Dylan. Like, so people in the comments, what do you think the reason what's up with Dylan? We're not going to say what it is because it is personal. No. But people in the comments, please show some love to Dylan and Dave. And we know there's one more D that's not here. It's the Mr. Do Daily. He's on the bus as well, so people. So he'll be here in 5 minutes. So if you want to abuse him, don't cross the line, abuse. Just abuse him. So if you've not saw that,
abuse him, but don't cross the line.
Don't cross the line. No. But some people like to go across the line. You know how it is. You know how it is. It is, people. Before we do talk about today's game, we'll go for the comments as well. From Chapo Di Chapo, Door, get in there, boy, in there. Bye. Darwin's record still the worst Premier League history. Chapo's to set it all. As you know, we have got more points than them, and we're happy as Larry. Is any Darwin fans sulking about it? I don't care. We've gone past the mark, and it is what it is. There's one for Paul Hope. We well, Door. Nice to meet you and Dave. And rest last Wednesday, Forest are staying up. Good to see you as well, Paul. Fantastic to see you as well. Kev, how you doing, Kev? Hope you're happy. Sunny evening rest from game that it was. Yeah. And we are going to talk about it as well. Like I said, it was a fantastic job. Justin, happy clappers. Yeah. Yeah. As well.
Should not have done that now.
I do, Colin. Much love to Colin as well. You get about today. He did get about.
Not on many buses, Ollie.
As well. This is my good friend of mine, Chris from America, Evening Door and Band of Brothers for Forest.
Top bloke, Chris.
Now, end of end. It's not even the beginning of the end. It prefers the end of the beginning. Come on, you Reds. Shout out to
You're
Chris.
Chilean, Chris.
And is any, you know what? I love to know where you're watching this show, because like I said, I know Chris is from America. So if what Forest fans are watching this stream, Paddy Irish. I know Paddy's from Ireland. How you doing, Paddy? Evening, gents. Paddy, where are you from? I keep forgetting where you're from. He's from out the sticks. Paddy is. And we've got the man himself watching this show, Mr. Kevin Campbell, Mr. Dore, Dylan, and Dave. Hope you're well. 4 smiles and great to see. The teams are adapting and looking well. Has this break come too soon?
Can I just ask Dylan a question? Dylan, I guess you'll be hoping that Kev will be trying to guess your ailment, mate. Is that right?
As well.
But Ben, you want to offer a prize for anybody who can correctly guess Dylan's ailment.
Right. You know what? That's a good idea, Dave. People in the comments, if you know what reason is, that's wrong with Dylan. In the comments, I'll give you a prize. I'll send you some stickers, some DoreOnTour stickers, if you can.
Can I guess?
No. No. People in the comments, if you can't get it right, what's wrong with Dylan?
I love this.
I'll give you 10 stickers. I'll give you 10 stickers if you can get it right. What's wrong with Dylan? Right. So shout out to Kevin. We'll hopefully get Kevin back on his channel soon. I know he's been a busy man as well. So shout out to my man Kevin Campbell as well. He's here now in the backstage. People in the comments, like I said, if you let's get to that, Des. I know I did a little push to him yesterday, but it was funny. But here's another Mr. Do Daily, and let's show some love to Des. What time called this, Des?
Flipping buses.
I was trying to get back from town. It was a tough one.
I blame the buses, mate.
Blame the buses. Blame Dylan's lot.
You've been out, Des, for a little wine?
A little wine?
Little wine?
Do you know what? Do you know yesterday when I got to the boot room after the game, and some girl or woman or whatever said to me, she went, "It's Do Daily." She went, "You were pissed up on DoreOnTour every time."
I don't condone people who's drunk. I do remember that he was really drunk, and I gave him a 3-game ban. So if anyone who does come on the channel who has to do the Do Daily suspension, don't get drunk. So I gave him a 3-game suspension. So people, like I said, show some love to Des to Do Daily as well. His description is in the link as well. Yeah, let's let more before we're talking through the comments as well, and there's a lot of people that are up as well. How you doing, Liam? Peace and love. How you doing, Paul? Shout out to Paul. I saw you last week. Johnny says piles to you, Dylan.
It started.
What is Des? We've said.
I think Des knows.
Des, don't say it, Des. What Des got? We've said if people
haven't got anything. Don't think that people think I've got a disease.
He hasn't got a disease. No!
He's offered a prize.
Oh, Des! What is wrong with this guy? Des, this guy. I'm going to go through his comments.
Bigger than that, my friend. Bigger than that.
How you doing, Raz Dads, as well? I'm just going from there. Stefan, hello team, watching from where's that? Crumber coming from Australia. We love this show. To any Australian as well. And I saw quite a lot of Irish fans as well before the game. So shout out to the Forest fans in Ireland as well. They was on the vlog as well. So shout out to all the Irish people. Oh, days. Even. Well. Des got hi, Des. Hope you're well. Keep believing no matter what. You know what? I think you need to get Kev. If Kev's not busy tomorrow, get him on your Dalu and Des.
Yeah.
You KC. If you're not free tomorrow, Kev, join in with Mr. Do Daily if you can. Message him there. We'll get on as well. If you do want to come on Des' show tomorrow, please do. Like I said, anyone can turn up. Anyone. It's the last review show. We've got the last Do Daily show. So if you want to come on,
let's talk about a fantastic game of football.
Let's talk about it. Right.
Why? Has there been one?
Oh yeah, and Des, before we do talk about the game, there's no happy clappers. Okay, we're not allowed to do it. Just what I told you. There's no happy clappers in this show. Right. Let's talk about yesterday's game, and we'll start with you. Let's start with you, Dave. Let's start with the lineup. Like I said, it was a bit surprised with me. A lot of people saying Cook should be dropped, McKenna should be dropped. It was the same back four against Tottenham. What was your opinion? And as well, people in the comments, what was your opinion about the lineup? We'll start with you, Dave.
Well, to be honest, Ben, coming out of that game of Tottenham against Tottenham, I would have had no complaints if we'd had the same 11 again, because I thought they played. It was at that point, it was by far our best performance of the season. So I had. I mean, basically, I don't really get that angry about our lineups, because as soon as that 11 comes out, right, those guys get the full investment of my emotion and my support, right? But I thought Joe and Big Willie at the back had earned their start. Oh, stop it, Dore, stop it. You won't get any innuendo out of me, but the guy stiffened our resolve at the back, definitely. Seriously, I thought. Des, and this is you might have been best off staying off for a bit, Des, because it's been like this. It's been so childish, honestly, which I actually really like. But seriously speaking, no, I had no problem with the lineup. The only issue I had with the lineup was I would have probably started Lewis O'Brien, because I think he's so forward thinking. He likes to carry the ball forward, and he likes to, Lewis's first thought often is to play a ball forward, as he had done to good effect on Wednesday night. I probably wouldn't have picked Freuler, but actually the way things turned out, I think the lineup was fine. I had no. Again, the Taiwo thing. Would I have started with a 9? I might have started with a 9, and Taiwo and O'Brien. I might have had those two in, or actually, I might have leaned towards Sam to start. But in the end, it was what it was, and Steve was vindicated, because when you pick an 11, as I've done many years running football, if you pick an 11, the single ultimate aim is to win a football match. Steve picked an 11 to do the job, and it got the job done. So I didn't have any worries about our lineup beforehand, Ben, to be honest.
Everyone, we always criticise with people about not having a big striker. Both Jesse, after a good performance against Spurs, both Morgan Gibbs-White, Johnson. Was you happy with the front three?
100%. I think Jesse and Gibbs-White over the last few games have come into it. I think both of them getting a goal has basically took the hoodoo away from them and gave them. They look like they've got more freedom. You saw Jesse yesterday. He had 2 shots. He had a couple of attempts on goals. He was working hard. And I'm not saying that he hasn't been working hard, because he has. But they always say like that. Just getting that first goal can take that pressure away, and he's taking it away. And same with Morgan. He's the same. Do you know what I mean? He's got his goal, and he got the goal yesterday. Jono, I still expect he's still a class player. But for me personally, I've always thought, for the last couple of games, has he had the World Cup on his mind? Do you know what I mean? A young lad getting the chance to go to Qatar, to go and play the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? I know he'll play. I know he'll give his 100%. But do you know what I mean? I'm just hoping, get this World Cup out the way with, get these players back. Do you know what I mean? I personally don't think we'll see the players that go to the World Cup for a few weeks after the season starts, because obviously they're going to need a break. They've been travelling, the jet lag and all that, and get themselves back into it. But I think as soon as the World Cup's done, I think we'll see totally different players.
I think we'll see Wayne Hennessy at Old Trafford, Dylan.
100%.
We'll have to.
100%. Des, do you echo what Dave and Dylan says about the lineup? Was you happy with it?
was happy with it. I was surprised. I was really surprised that the centre back decision was bold. You know, those two, it was a bold decision, and it could have backfired big time. But Bolly played really, really well. Got in front of everything. Worrell did his job, you know, to be fair. But I just thought, like the Liverpool game, what a performance! What a performance all round. And again, the players I've criticised in the last couple of weeks, Boy got his foot in front of everything. So Yates,
Des, you like him now?
Sure. One swallow don't make a summer door. You know what that means. But,
I don't care what you mean, but yeah.
I nearly made an awful joke there. I'm so sorry.
Don't.
Stop thinking about Big Willie again, Dave.
It's how good a game he had, Des. I can't get him off my mind.
No, the reality is, what a performance. Foy played well yesterday. He got his foot in, and that's what I wanted it to see him do. I wanted to see Foy support Yates. Yates had a magnificent game. Lingard, Gibbs White. What a partnership now, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's starting to form. They're starting to look like a football team. And that's all we've wanted all season, is to look like a football team. We've been short. Let's not beat about the bush. Like, we all try and mask over at times and pretend it's all right and we're going to be all right. They've been at 6s and 7s at times. They've looked like relegation fodder after the Leicester game, after the Wolves game. Yesterday, they was fantastic. They fought for everything. They won. They won tackles in midfield. And I said it on my own little summary. You know, you win the midfield in the Premier League, you win the match. It's as simple as that. It's all won in that midfield battle, and Forest won it. Palace had some good players going forward. You know, Zaha, Eze, Elise, and they put us under a little bit of pressure. It wasn't easy. It wasn't straightforward. They pushed us back. First half, pushed us back, won that penalty. But once we dealt with that, got a foothold in the game, took it to them in the second half, you know, with those players we've mentioned, Gibbs White, Lingard, different story, isn't it? Because when they're linking up, we're a completely different outfit. What they've not done to this point is link up. And now all of a sudden, you've got two guys who have got star potential, showing star potential at the same time. Unfortunately, that the break's coming, but wow, you know, we can only go on it, can't we? We'll go with the momentum and we'll take it.
Do you know what I felt yesterday, lads? And I think you three might have felt the same as me. It was Wednesday night and yesterday were the first two occasions this season where we got a lead and I felt we would keep it. You know, previously, you know, even when we went down to 10 men against a top 6 team, apparently, the other night, I thought we were comfortable. And I felt yesterday that I couldn't see Palace coming back once we got in front. Now, every game prior to that, when we've been in front, I kind of dreaded what was coming, but I didn't yesterday. And I think that's a mark of the gradual, subtle progress that our lads have made. And Des is absolutely right. Morgan and I looked at Morgan and Jesse yesterday. They looked like two lads who probably knock about together. And they were having, there was a smile on Morgan's face, there was a smile on Jesse's face. And they look like they're having fun. And if you've got two lads of that ability and that talent with that relaxed frame of mind, you've got yourself two real good players, I think.
Well, what have I been saying, Dave, all the way along? Even though we've not got a number 9, and yes, in many ways, I'd love to see that. Gibbs White breaking into the box. That's what he did at Sheffield. That's why we all thought, what a player this guy is. Breaking into the box, scoring a goal in the way he did. Yes, last week's was fantastic. You know, where he beat a man, he dropped his shoulder, he put it in the bottom corner via a deflection, albeit. But breaking into the box, getting into those dangerous areas of the football pitch. And that's what he did. And Lingard did it as well. Lingard couldn't finish the game off 2-3 times. And it's so important. Yes, it didn't quite work out yesterday where we made it 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, whatever. But if they're making it happen before long, it will happen. If you see what I mean.
Totally agree.
I'm going to ask you, and this play, like I said, we spoke about Joe Worrell. We know he gave the penalty away. Me personally, I thought it was a penalty. If from my angle, people in the comments, what's your thoughts about it? Like, from your angle, did you watch on TV? From my angle, it wasn't a penalty. It was definitely a penalty. What was from your angle?
Yeah, definitely. He grabs him around the waist. Straight away. As soon as you see the replay, you know exactly what's going to happen. It's just you just get a bit frustrated because he's been out the team. You know how good of a player he is, and it's just, for me, I was just a bit frustrated because it seemed to be a bit of a schoolboy error. Do you know what I mean? You've got a player of that caliber, and you're going to grab him around the waist, and you know what he's going to do. Anybody's going to feel a little touch in the box. Do you know what I mean?
Especially Zaha.
Yeah,
I was reading that Zaha's the most dived person in the Premier League. If no one knows, just what get out there.
But do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, he did that. He probably looked back on it and looked in for, what did I do? But we got away with it. You know what I mean? And then second off, I can't fault the bloke. I can't even fault him after the penalty, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was about to ask you, Dave, about it. Like Joe Worrell, he's had a criticism from this season. He's been dropped. He come back against Spurs, fantastic. And we mentioned that front four, the Crystal Palace front four with Zaha, Eze, the rest of them. What's the word? Modified them yesterday. And I said, the other penalty. Zaha had one chance, one more one. I think he shot over the bar. But Joe Worrell, he answered his critics. I know it's just his second game, but he answered his critics yesterday. Because I know, like I said, it's people's opinion. They can have what to say. But yesterday, he proved a point, on how to play the Premier League and deal with these top players, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, we talked, the four of us, before the game, socially when we meet up, and I think we all knew that Wilf, Eberechi, Eze, Michael Elise, and then as it proved, it was going to be either Odson Edward or Jordan Ayew. That's a good forward line. That's the forward line that has kind of made Palace a solid, established, middle of the table team, which might appear like to be a sort of a bland, anonymous existence. But boy, I'd love Forest to be an established middle of the table Premier League team. I'd like us to be what Palace are. So I felt that the danger was in those. It was in those four. They didn't score. So at the end of the day, if you pick your back four and you want to stop a forward line as talented as that, and me and Des talked when Des was doing we were doing the bits for Pitch Footy, and those were the names that were coming up, because I think anybody playing Crystal Palace is going to pick them three out as like they have to be nullified, right? And Forest did it. In the final analysis, the nil says that Forest did it. They stopped it. And I thought our back four, as they were on, I was very surprised with what was picked on Wednesday night. But you know what? Thinking on it now with hindsight, if you think about the Brentford game, both Brentford goals came through with balls through between Steve and Scotty, and it happened twice. And it was almost like maybe they worked at it. Maybe Steve thought these two have made a cock up twice and said, right, I've got to go to Joe and the big fella. Or maybe in training, those two have shown more of a combination than Scotty and Steve. I'm sure Cookie and McKenna will be back in at some point. But I thought the back four played really well against apparently a world-class striker on Wednesday night, and against Wilf yesterday. I mean, especially Wilf, the way he plays. Palace is Wilf, Wilf is Palace. He's their talisman. He's one of the greatest players in their history, right? And our lads have kept both Tottenham Hotspur and Crystal Palace to 0. In fact, these last 6 games, take out the Arsenal game where we were completely outclassed by the quite distant league leaders, 4 clean sheets in the last 6 games. Brighton, Liverpool, Tottenham, okay, in the Carabao, but it's still a game, and yesterday. And the greatest of them all, and I'm repeating what I said earlier to Jamie, all good sides are built on clean sheets. And if you start with clean sheets, then that is a platform to build the rest of your performance on. So I mean, the way I look at it, when we go to, obviously got the Blackburn game, which Steve might use as a side to in some ways, but I think we need to use the Carabao Cup this season like we used the FA Cup last year. And I was really pleased that Forest went about the Carabao to get momentum into this game yesterday, which was actually so much more important. I mean, you know, I'm going to Old Trafford actually with the same back four. I think Renan Loddy.
That's what I want to talk about.
Sorry, I'm droning on again.
Yes,
I apologise.
Well, it's okay.
It's gone about Renan Loddy. I think the best thing that's happened to Renan Loddy is to be left out by Brazil. Clear the decks, Nottingham Forest focus. And Renan Loddy in the last 2 games has shown us why he's an Atletico Madrid player. Previously to that, to me, he was the biggest disappointment of all the transfers. I wanted more from that guy. And I got it, particularly at Leicester. The lad was awful. He had a shocking game. Like everybody, bar Sergio Aurier, had a bad game at Leicester. Willy Bolly, not that impressed against Fulham, but Willie's come in. I tell you what, I thought there were times yesterday when he had the ball at the back and you think, oh God, somebody's going to take it off him. But he was coolness personified and he set moves going in motion. So, and Joe did what Joe did. I thought our distribution from the back, while not perfect, was better yesterday than it has been. And Sergio Aurier might well be last in, and he may turn out to be the least expected success. I think Serge is kind of on his way to a little bit of cult status, but I'm going to Old Trafford with the same back four at the moment. I have no problem with it at all, mate.
I was about to say that to Des because like I said it's been a fantastic back four. Des,
these last 2 games,
Des, would you play that against back four? Because Des, let's keep it real, you've been criticised with Lodde a lot, as it's been said.
I agree with Des.
But that's the thing. But people in the comments as well, like, and let's keep it real. People have been criticised with it could be Lodde, and as well, people. I'm not saying just Des. Joe Worrell as well. People have been criticised with Joe Worrell. Can't see Pat Foley because he's not played as well. But would you keep? People in the comments, would you keep that back four against Man U? Des, would you keep the same back four?
I'm not sure. Do you know what? I totally agree with what Dave said, and Renan Loddy has been so much better over the last couple of games. Yeah. So much better. Again, yesterday, when I walked away from the game, I thought, again, do you know, I keep saying this, I keep using this phrase for certain players. Best game for Forest. Best game for Forest. There was 1 or 2 little misdemeanors in there from Loddy. The penalty, you know, he didn't cover himself in glory. Whilst Joe was ultimately at fault, you know, there was 1 or 2 issues in there. So you've got to look at the game on a broader perspective. But do you know what? Nico's brilliant. We know what Nico is. He's that player who gets up and down the line, and Serge is doing such a fantastic job. So I'm not saying I wouldn't necessarily play Lolly.
Has he come back?
That's going back.
But do you know, Nico's a good player as well. So let's not forget that. Do you know, let's not forget what he offers. He offers us more of an attacking presence. But no, Loddy played his best game. Bolly played really, really well.
Yeah.
Those distribution was an improvement on what we'd seen. Let's not, in many ways, and I don't want to sound negative on this. Joe and Cookie, to me, are the same player. You know, I don't think you can split them whatsoever. The weaknesses are the same, the strengths are the same. So, but the one thing where I think Joe's got slightly ahead of him is distribution.
Yeah.
Getting that ball from the goalkeeper, playing it to the right back, calm when it comes back, playing it to the other centre back. You know, that's where I think he's slightly got the advantage on him. So when you're talking about a back four, you know, it was a shock yesterday. It was a real shock when I saw that back four. I thought, wow, that's a big statement, because I kind of expected a few changes, but I didn't expect them in the back four.
No.
When I saw it, when they played really well, Bolly stuck his head on everything, stuck his foot on everything. You know, I thought that was a great performance. Joe grew into the game. Let's be honest. You can see his confidence is not what it was, you know, but he grew into it.
Yeah.
As the game went on, him and Yates, they were kind of playing up to the crowd, dictating things, fist pumping people and all that kind of thing. And I thought that was so important. So going to the Man U game, it's a long way away, isn't it?
It's a long way, yeah.
And will Nick Carty be available for that game? Because hopefully Moose can be fit. Then Moose becomes active, and then actually we're into more of an embarrassment of riches, if you like, if Moose is about.
All right, there's 130 people. If you can do a massive favor for me, please do hit the like button. I am 13 away from 9K, and I did say before the end of the stream, please get me to 9K. It's a massive thing for me as well. And make sure everyone subscribes to Do Daily as well. His description is in the title. Right, there's another player that we'll talk about, and they said everyone knows how much love I got to Ryan Yates. But again, I heard he's not a Premier League player, blah, de blah, this and that, all this kind of rubbish. People, I want to make a statement, I keep repeating this. We know Ryan Yates is not no superstar that's going to do the Messi, not doing the Ronaldo. He's not going to do the superstar trick. He does his game. If there's any people in the comments disagree that Ryan Yates wasn't good yesterday, please do. Or if you disagree with me, come on Des show tomorrow and have a chat with him, because I won't be here. So
putting pressure on Des.
If there's any people that disagree about Ryan Yates' performance yesterday, put in the comments. Or if you want to talk on this channel, come on tomorrow's channel with Des at 9 o'clock and have a say. Because me personally, Ryan Yates again was fantastic. Let me ask you, Dylan, and I'll get everyone's opinion as well in the comment in the panel. What's your opinion on Yates yesterday, Dale?
Done what he's been doing for the last however long. 5 managers in, gets picked every time, doing a job. Do you know what I mean? The thing is with Yates is, right, you've got to look at him and think, no, he's not a world beater. He's stylish and that. He's one of them players that basically gets stuck in to make everybody else look better or get the ball to them. He does the donkey work. To me, he reminds me a bit like a Roy Keane. He's starting to turn into someone. I'm not saying he is, but he's starting to turn into it. He's getting in there. I noticed yesterday a ball went out with the Crystal Palace player. He gets up and literally Yates just walks straight back, barges into him. And he was taller than him, barges into him, pushes him to see who do you think you are. Do you know what I mean? And I really like that. But do you know what I mean? Me personally I think his best game personally was against Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? He bossed that centre of the park. He basically yesterday he was amazing. But the thing is, he just goes about his job. He just does all the donkey work, all the crap that no one else wants to do, to make everybody else be able to do what they do. And this is probably why some people don't rate him, because what does he do? He don't do this, but he does. He sticks the boot in. Do you know what I mean? He's always there. And I'll always ask the question to people is, but why, since he made his debut, he's had 5 managers, and every single manager has picked him. He's never been dropped, really. They've always put him in the middle. So there's something there. And I just watch Forest. I don't claim to be a football expert or anything.
Yeah, but let's stop there. What isn't people can talk, and I'm talk about what Des and another person said, how differently people can say it. People can agree with one person and disagree with one person, but they say exactly the same thing. Des this is why Des is smirking, because Des knows what I'm saying, but we'll say that later on. Before we do talk about Yates to Dave and Des, I want to go through comments, and then, like I said, we're talking about Ryan Yates. But me personally, and those people in the comments, don't shy away with people comments. I know there's a few people, and I don't want to throw you under the bus, because there's a few people that was saying about Yates. Like I said, Yates, there's going to be some people that's not a fan of him. I've been a fan of him for a long time, Ryan Yates. So there's Ryan Yates, actually, I mentioned yesterday, as per usual. Frankie says Yates reminds me of a Kevin Nolan. Well, I won't say Kevin Nolan's more attacking though, but good shout. D Chapper says, get the Pete guy on Des. Get Pete the Irish guy on Des tomorrow. Pete, if you want to come on tomorrow and talk about Forest on Desert tomorrow, please come on, Pete, because we've been waiting for you. Where you been hiding? This is from Russell. Ryan Yates does all the dirty work and allows those around him play. Every season he proves that data is wrong, and he does. He's going to play. Sometimes he's going to have moments that he's not played great. But yesterday, again against a good team, I think it was as well as a good midfield that's participated as well. He dealt with it, and as well with Remo and Canute. This is from Scott. Yates is a dog that every midfield needs. Ryan Yates, this is from Paul. Ryan Yates is doing class. How long before he gets invited? 4 more years, and Southgate will be in. No, I don't want to say it because that would jinx it. I'm not saying it. He'll get a call up. You get a call up from someone, but I'm not saying who it is. Des, you had to, didn't you? You had to.
Basically, said his name.
I never said his name.
You went, oh, stop.
I stopped there. Maybe, you don't know. Steve Cooper gets a call up, gets a job as a manager, and Ryan Yates goes up. Why not? This is from Chris. Yates is the modern day Roy of the Rovers. This is from Magic Burnt Toast. Yates is like Darren Fletcher of Man U. He does things that no one else wants to do. 100% agree with that. James, the break has come more good time for Yates. Not a tackler from yesterday, which VAR looked at, and he was beat and Brayton Richardson, who was on the floor at the week. Can he get too wound up? No, that's what we can talk about as well. Because I think, as no one saw it last, I think it was the end of the game. What's his name? The Will Hughes. If no one saw it, he was actually winding Wills up, and I think he did the Undertaker. He got up, sit up, and he shouted some abuse towards him. I'm not going to say what he said, but Yates, you know what I said. You said, Simon Tebbs. This is for you, Tebbs. You've been gunning for Yatesy. I'm gunning for you, Tebbs. Even I started to no, you gun for him. What Dave? Simon Tebbs. Always going for you, Mr. Yatesy. When I see you, Tebbs, I'm coming for you. There's one looking for the comments as well. Evening, Mark. How you doing? Another one from the legend. Home form is key, and scoring goals matters most. Good to see Lingard and Lingard come to the party, and like I said, that's something that we're going to talk about throughout the show. Because it's so important to get, because like I said, it's the last review show, and I know that Dylan's got to get bedded by at 10 o'clock, so just trying to get everything out of the way.
I ain't going to go nowhere, mate. I've worked 2 weeks.
And he's younger than I am.
But yeah, right. So yeah, Dave, let's talk. What's your opinion on Ryan Yates?
Well, I mean, all of the comments that you put there and everything that my bus driving, slightly discomforted friend above said, I would agree with. I mean, the way I look at Ryan is, I think Ryan gets 100% out of his body and his mind, and the amount of talent that he's got. We all know that, you know, he's not the slickest guy. If Ryan was sat talking to us for now, he said, I'm not this and I'm not that, but I try this and I try that, right? I think Ryan is a victim of this age of FIFA and Soccer AM showboating and all that like, that's the stuff that kind of grabs people's minds, and they think that is like what modern football's about. You know, you get these guys, it's like these guys who do street tricks with the football and all that, put them on a muddy pitch in Nottingham in the middle of November and see how they get on. And you need a warrior, somebody who's going to lay his body on the line for his team. I tell you what, I bet every player who plays alongside Ryan Yates loves what he does. And as has been said in the comments, you need a dog in there, and Yates, he does that. And you know, I think I saw it might have been on Jamie's show or this one. It's this idea that Yatesy allows other people to go and display their talents. He's unselfish. He's to me, he is the fan on the field. He's the embodiment of the kid who, if he wasn't on the field, he'd be sat in the stands with us, giving it 100%. I adore the kid. He's a nice guy. He's a decent fella. He's as honest as the day's long. And I'll tell you what, I've noticed this last week against Tottenham and yesterday against Palace, Forest have got 2 wins out of these last 2 games because I think they've been incredibly honest, Forest. They haven't ducked any issue. They've given everything they've got. They're not perfect. There's a lot to still work on. We're still in the bottom 3 when all's said and done. But I've loved their attitude. I mean, the contrast to me, especially on Wednesday night, between a team that was honest and a team that actually betrayed its supporters, especially the ones who travelled all the way from London to be in the away end. If I was a Tottenham Hotspur fan on Wednesday night, I would have been out for blood. They were a disgrace and a letdown. Our lads were honest. And I thought our lads were just as honest yesterday. And Yatesy is without any disrespect to any others, Yatesy is the most honest of the lot. Yatesy takes nothing for granted. Every day he gets out of bed, Ryan Yates probably says to himself, or thinks it, I'm playing for the club I love in the most high-profile league in the world. How lucky am I? And that comes across to me. So if Ryan has a bad game, you still know he's going to give everything. And you know what? When I ran football teams for 17 years, I would look at some players and that player would give me the same amount of effort, physical effort and mental commitment every week. And sometimes you'd get a blinder of a performance and the same amount of effort the following week would get you not so good a performance. And I think Yatesy embodies that. And I just think you can't help but love the guy. I mean, at Brighton, he had a whack on the nose and it seemed to me like he didn't want the medical staff. He wanted the medical staff to let the blood just run down his face in a Terry Butcher, Paul Ince style. And I just think he embodies, to me, he's our love of the club as fans in a human form on the pitch. And nobody gives more to the cause than Ryan does. You know what I mean? He's local. It's his club. Can't fault his effort. And I watched Des last night. And if anybody hasn't seen it, get onto Twitter and listen and watch Des last night. Absolute perfection of a summary of that game. And he spoke about, Ryan Yates, and he used the word magnificent. And it's an overused word these days, in my view, but not out of place yesterday for Ryan Yates. And I thought he was absolutely superb. You know what I mean? Nothing but praise for that lad. And you've got to go with Ryan Yates. There's going to be days when he doesn't do stuff and he's going to be scruffy and he's going to be... I tell you what, an old guy, a fantastic guy, not an old guy, he's only about a year older than me, so I'm decrepit, sat next to me yesterday, and a bloke I really respect who knows his football and played good football, and he said to me, he turned to me in the Trent and he said, Yates must be a nightmare to play against. And my response to that was, good, I'm glad he's on our side and not against us. And that's the best way to sum Ryan up, I think.
Before I ask this. I remember that me, Dave, and Des, we went to Leicester game and it was 3-0 down. I think it was 3 or 4-0 down. Yates was on the bench. Second half, Ryan Yates come on, and yes, we lost 4-0, but you can tell the difference when he comes on. And yes, we know, like when we play big teams against, like I said, Man City, Arsenal, the big teams, it's going to be difficult at midfield because they're really experienced players. But this is you, Des, like I said. Yates has had so much criticism of not being a Premier League player, but he's proven it against these top players that he is playing against Premier League. Like, and there's no disrespect to Spurs or Crystal Palace, because like I said, they've got a good side, and it's just every game. Like I said, I said yesterday on my post, Ryan Yates is not a Premier League player, sarcastically, but he's proven a point in it, Des, and it is what it is, Des.
Absolutely. Sorry, I've got a crazy puppy. Going mental with my smile.
Yes, Stan the man.
He's got my brand new trainers and he's swinging them around. So
yes, Stan.
It's making me a bit upset.
At least he's not licking your forehead, Des.
That makes sense. No, Ryan Yates. Okay, get that off him. No, he's absolutely brilliant, isn't he? All this rubbish about he's not a Premier League player. No, he wasn't a Premier League player last season because none of them were, because they were playing in the Championship. Do you know? I'm sick of hearing this rubbish about.
Ow!
She's telling you to get out there.
People in the comments, put hashtag stand out.
Out. That sounds like another podcast, that.
Life's changed since we've had him. No, anyway, he wasn't a Premier League player because none of them were.
No.
But people take the step up, don't they? People get better. People learn how to play in different situations. yesterday and against Liverpool, Yates was magnificent, and I've been moaning about Foy, for example, in the last couple of games. Right, I give him his credit yesterday. I said he played well in the Liverpool game, but when it's not gone quite so well for Yates, I think he's almost been doing two jobs. You know, he's almost been having to cover, and I love what this guy gives us. You know, he's Forest through and through. We all love that anyway. You know, that goes without saying. If it's homegrown, it feels that little bit better. He's one of our own. You know, we're swimming in the tent. We're doing all that kind of thing. But he's not a bad footballer. Everybody keeps saying he's not the most technically gifted footballer. That's rubbish. No. That is absolute rubbish. Because, sorry. Dogs are mental.
Stan.
Never work with children and animals, eh?
Oh, they're talking about Yates and going, oh, he's not this, he's not that. It's rubbish because he does what Foy does. Do you know, he passes it 4 yards. He passes it 10 yards. He makes better forward passes than this internet. And I don't want to make this about Foy because it's about Yates. And I did say yesterday, Foy had a great game. But I just look at that comparison where people are saying, great footballer, workmanlike footballer, all right? Yates does all those things. He doesn't do it in an aesthetically pleasing way. He doesn't pass like Foy. It's not all in one movement. But when he passes it forward, it means something. When he gets into the box, yes, we could do with him not having a 50p head, but if he scored one or two more of them chances, it means a lot more. He gets up and down the pitch. I've said in recent weeks, we've not got an holding midfielder. That is what I feel Forest's problem is. Now, hopefully they'll address it in January. But while Yates is doing all the jobs, because in my mind, he's doing all the jobs. You know, he's doing a bit of everything. He's on the edge of the box. He's tracking that runner. He's doing this. He's out by the fullbacks. He's learned how to be professional. You know, he's down with his head in his hand. You know, we all know it's bullshit. Let's face it. You know, and then he's up. He's up giving it this at the stand, and it's just become that professional footballer that you just want in your team. What I did like yesterday is Palace fans, because I sit above them, they hated him. They hated him. They were like, boo.
Job done, Des.
Hey. But
Job done, mate.
Yeah, they were giving him some crap. He went down a couple of times holding his head when Forest was under pressure. You know, we all hate Savage. Savage is a classic example. But in many ways, for as much as we hate him, you kind of hope he's in your team as well.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw a comment now. As well.
He's that kind of footballer that makes it work for you. And Yates is starting to become that influence. He's starting to become a real influence on the team, which even last season, when he was doing decent things, he wasn't. In the Premier League, all of a sudden, Liverpool, Palace, I said right at the top of the show, you win the midfield, I said it on my report, you win the midfield in the Premier League, you win the match.
Yeah.
No, and Yatesy is the biggest factor in Forest winning the midfield. Yes, in the games I'm talking about, Palace, Liverpool, etc., Foy has done all right. Kouyaté does what he does. But Yatesy is a massive impact on that. Against Arsenal, Yates gives the ball away. Everybody comes teaming in on him. He's not the player we said he was. But that's going to happen, isn't it? Yeah. When he's got 2 or 3 jobs to do and the rest of the midfield are hiding. He is the one who puts himself out there, face up to it, you know, getting smacked in the face, giving it that to the crowd. And that's all we want from a footballer, isn't it? We want that kind of passion, commitment, you know, and hard work. Because, do you know what? All this about Forest right now, we're not brilliant. Let's not be stupid about it. We're not brilliant all of a sudden. We haven't gone from being rubbish to brilliant. But it's a process we're going through. It's a process. But what we can see is a lot of hard work all of a sudden. We can see players fighting, players digging deep. Aurora, do you know, he's not world class, but he's doing such a great job week in, week out. Yatesy getting stuck in. Yesterday, Bolly getting stuck in. Lingard, midweek, getting stuck in. And it's a cliche at times in football. You ask for these players to get stuck in, and everyone goes, if they get stuck in, the crowd will be okay. But as Forest fans, we get accused of wanting too much. But all we want from them is to get stuck in.
Yeah.
Stuck in time after time. Yatesy did it. Alora's done it. Lingard started doing it. Morgan Gibbs-White's been tracking back. And all of a sudden we think, wow, we've got something to work from here.
I go back to Brighton. When we went to Brighton, we had to hang on for a long time in that game. But I felt that the last 20, 25 minutes at Brighton, when Brighton sort of seemed to, good side there they are, and they're a fine side, Brighton. But Brighton seemed to get a bit mardy in the last 20, 25 minutes because, hang on a minute, these are bottom. We should be thumping these. Like, we've gone to Liverpool and got something. We've beaten whoever else. And we can't put Nottingham Forest away. And I thought in that last 25 minutes, the person who led Forest's kind of slight rediscovery of confidence and grit and determination was Ryan Yates. So we're on. Des is absolutely right. We're still bottom three. We've got loads of work to do. We've got a lot of climbing to do. Absolutely. And for anybody tuning in and thinking that we're all like deluded and all this, that, and the other, we're not. We know where we are, right? But Ryan Yates started. So if you think about it, from Brighton, we've had 4 clean sheets. Okay, we've had 1 thumping, and we've become definitely harder to beat, which needed to happen after Leicester, which was truly the worst moment of all. Not because it was Leicester, it was just a bland, dreadful performance, right? So we've got that. And Yates, he started that to me. My favourite photo of the whole season is the photo of Yates against Liverpool with 4 world-class players all trying to get the ball off him. And he's barging between the two. And the Roy Keane point that Dylan made, I think it was, when Roy Keane came into our club with Martin O'Neill. That was another of the false dawns. But what Roy Keane did in that first training session with him and Martin O'Neill was, I think Roy Keane watched Ryan Yates train, watched Ryan Yates' kind of body language, saw Ryan Yates' attitude and said to Martin O'Neill, you know what, Gaffer, you've got something in that kid. And if a guy as good as Roy Keane picks you out, you're a good player. Whatever you bring to the party.
Yeah, 100%. I can agree with you. People in the comments, do you agree what Des thinks? I remember, before we do change the subject, I remember Roy Keane did say he always loved Ryan Yates. I think it was the Rotherham game. I think Ryan Yates was fantastic. And since Roy Keane...
He's done him a bit of disservice because he said numerous times on television, this guy is very limited. Why is he limited? Right? He's smashing into people like Roy Keane used to. Right, he's winning free kicks, he's winning possession, he's getting the ball to Forest players. If you actually watch him, and this was a massive fault in the Championship, he don't give the ball away that much. And this is why I make that point about Foyer. What he does, he gets the ball to a Forest player in a fashion. It doesn't matter how it gets there. It doesn't matter how it gets to Morgan Gibbs-White. So I think whilst Roy Keane had a great point, honest, realistic, relatable, all words I like, he's also a little bit better than people give him credit for.
100%. There's 123 people. Thank you for everyone that has took the time to watch me, Dylan, Dave, and the late Do Daily Des coming to the channel. If you can do a favor for me, hit the like button, subscribe if you know. Another topic, and again another player that's been. Let's keep it real. He wasn't great, but his last 2 games, especially against Spurs and again yesterday, he was good. I'm going to ask you, Dylan. We're going about Jesse Lingard. Then we'll talk about more Gibbs-White in a minute. But Jesse Lingard again, he's slowly seeing the player that all Forest want to see in that role, Inter.
Definitely. I think with Jesse is he came with a lot of expectations, a lot of media, outside noise, saying this, saying that about him. and he's only human. And you can say, yeah, that don't bother me, but it's going to bother you to a certain degree. But he's coming to a brand new club with. He's not just coming into a brand new club where he's just got to fit in with the players, like the players all know each other. He's had to come into a brand new club with players that don't even know each other. So he can't hit the ground running. So basically, everyone else is trying to get to know each other. He's trying to get to know each other. He's got all his outside noise coming in. Do you know what I mean? And I think what I've seen of Jesse in that, I can just see that Jesse just switches off half the time. Do you know what I mean? But do you know what I mean? But like, I knew Jesse would start to come good once the whole team started to come good. You know what I mean? Because they were all gonna have to gel together. They were all gonna have to make each other look better than what we'd played in previous games. Like the 15 games, we've done 15 games so far. So, but I've always said that getting to this international break was always going to be a learning curve. Do you know what I mean? Because Cooper had 20 odd players to try and mould. He had to try and get a team. Do you know what I mean? He's got Jesse in there. Do you know what I mean? Jesse brings a lot of expectations with him. We probably all sat here when he first signed and goes, we want the Jesse from West Ham. Do you know what I mean? But it hasn't worked out that way. You can look at it and go, oh yeah, he's on this, he's on that, he's doing this. But if you peel it back and look at it all and think, well, no, he's just coming to a club, brand spanking new club for him, that's got a brand new team that don't even know each other. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really pleased he got his goal. I'm really pleased. You can see now.
Lingard, you're about Lingard. Lingard didn't score. Lingard didn't score.
No, he's got a goal.
Oh,
Wednesday night.
No, Wednesday night. I'm on about he's got that goal.
Yeah, okay.
Like lifted up, like Gibbs. It like lifted something off his shoulders.
Yeah.
But you can see with the front lot, like with him, Gibbs White, Johnson. You can see with them. Have you watched the bench cams and stuff like that? They're great. Do you know what I mean? You can see
they are.
You can see what he's doing with Gibbs White. You can see that he's loving it round the ground, giving it to the crowd. Do you know what I mean? So I think personally, this international break for all the players has come. Yes, we've won. Yes, we want to go, keep going, keep pushing. But it's a mini pre-season. You know what I mean? So look at this now. Cooper's gone, well, I know what everyone's starting to work together. Do you know what I mean? Let's just get everyone together, get everyone close-knit and go on again. But yeah, with the question, Jesse, do you know what I mean? Hopefully, not getting too carried away with him, but hopefully we can start to see what he's capable of.
I was about to mention Jesse Lingard to Des, but I'm not going to mention Jesse Lingard. I'm mentioning his favourite player of all time because I know Des is desperate to talk about him. You know, Des know what I'm going to say. Let's talk about what Gibbs White. He took his goal well, deserved it as well. But again, we mentioned with Jesse Lingard, he's slowly getting to that role now with him, especially Brendan as well. That front three, everyone talks about, and I think it was my guy Curtis put a comment about having a number 9. We still need a number 9. Let's get it wrong. We still need a striker that can get a goal. But Des, let's talk about Morgan Gibbs White. He started to get into that role now and get goals for us in important times.
Yeah, because everywhere else in the pitch is working, isn't it? And I'm not saying everywhere else on the pitch needs to work because of Gibbs White, but when you're defending so much, when you're under the cosh, you know, he's tough. He's tough. And it's tough to get the balls. We've seen that the lines have been too far apart. Football is all about being close to your own players, partnerships, building all around the field. And I think it's so important that all of a sudden Forest have been a little bit more confident, a little bit more adventurous, and Gibbs White's getting on the ball. I said it right at the start. In breaking in the way he did yesterday, for me, that was the best scenario I've seen this season. Because why I raved so much about getting Gibbs White was for that scenario. Breaking into the box, scoring a goal. Yes, he's not a number 9, but even when he played with a number 9 at Sheffield United, whether it was Billy Sharp, like Burnley and Dyer or whoever, those were the positions he got into and made a difference for them. We've seen it at the City Ground in the second leg of the playoffs. And if he's getting into them positions, Forest are doing something right. Around the rest of the pitch. Yes, it wasn't the number 9 knocking it down for him, but who cares? Who cares who's knocking it down? Lingard's playing well. I thought Johnson played well. He flitted between a few different positions. And if we can get the ball and start making those two, I said it on my pitch footy thing before the game and after the game. If you've got those two on form, other teams have got a problem. Other teams have got a problem if you've got Lingard and Gibbs-White on form. No matter whether you got a number 9, an older midfielder, a centre-back who's not doing his thing, if you've got those two on form, playing the way they can play when the ball gets to them, fighting, working hard, running off the ball. That's what a lot of people forget, is the running off the ball. Morgan Gibbs-White has shown us this season how much he runs off the ball. Last 3 or 4 games. Last 3 or 4 games.
Is he back, Des?
Eating everything. Last 3 or 4 games, Lingard, or last 1 or 2 games, Lingard is fighting for everything. We see him with the assist against Tottenham, sliding in for that ball, making a run, getting on the end of something. It makes the world a difference. And again, that's exactly what I want to see. People have criticised Morgan Gibbs-White over the season. They've said, oh, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. And I've always said, let's just wait and see. Because this guy is absolute quality. Yeah. He's quality beyond our level right now. He's a little bit wasted in 18th position in the Premier League for me, because he should be doing a lot more. And I think the more the confidence grows, the more they get that team right. God forbid I say it, but 1 or 2 better players in 1 or 2, not 22, better players in January, it could make the world a difference. And all of a sudden, you could see Forest in a different position, and everybody's going, wow, this guy's going to play for England. Obviously, the World Cup's gone, but in the Euros, and even Lingard, wow, this guy's knocking back on the door. If they're working well together, you've got a completely different outfit out there.
100%.
Great.
You know what, Dave? You have your little say, because we've gone over the hour, and there's always our show, but we had a good time. We've won the game.
Let me just here in Asprey Zone, I've got another 5 hours. So anyway, I'm like a Ken Dodd. Do you know what? When I was younger, I went to a Ken Dodd show. Right, he came on at 7:30, and he had a break at 10:30, and I left early. I believe he finished at 3:30 in the morning. So I'm not going to do a Doddy. Everything Dylan has said, everything Des has said, the lad's absolutely spot on. Morgan and Jesse, I just think that Des is right. Morgan's got such a brilliant box of tricks. I think I listened to Ellie. I was talking to Ellie Mollison earlier tonight, and she was spot on. She said for so long, Jesse was trying things, and he was like so close to getting it right, and they wouldn't come off for him. And then I think so that there was that phase when Morgan came in. He obviously desperately wanted to. I don't think with Morgan that the transfer fee weighs heavily on his shoulders. I don't think it bothers him. He doesn't give that impression to me. So I think the first phase of Morgan was there were hints of how good he was. I mean, he came on at Everton. We were close to the side of the pitch. He swerved between 2 guys and left him, but then he thought, whoa, this is good. And then it was a case of, right, we need to see more of it. And I think he went through a phase where he was trying things and he just didn't quite come off. Very close, little flicks and tricks, and he kind of thought his moment will come. Then I think the next phase, the next stage of Morgan Gibbs-White, if you like, was digging in against Brighton, certainly digging in against Liverpool, trying to dig in against Arsenal when he was playing against his natural way, against his natural instincts. And I thought, there's a kid, he's chasing back and he's trying hard and he's doing the stuff that he hasn't been bought for, but he was unselfish enough and decent enough to say, I'll dig in and help the team. Which then led me on to the next phase of Morgan Gibbs-White. I kind of thought, because he put that effort in that middle phase, he was going to get his reward. And he got his reward with a lovely goal against Brentford, where his close control and his footwork was quite brilliant with a group of Brentford round him. At Brentford, by the way, who've gone and beaten the best team in the world. So our 2-2 against Brentford might have a little bit more value now. And then yesterday, I watched Morgan and Jesse yesterday, and I just saw the two of them all right. They look like they were having fun. I mean, Morgan went over when the goal went in. Morgan went over and had a conversation with the linesman, and he got a big grin on his face, and he was kind of prepared for it not to be a goal. And then he got given, and the celebration. There was one bit. I'm at the Trent end. There's one bit where him and Jesse played a sort of 1-2, and I think Morgan had tried to put Jesse in. It didn't work out. Jesse couldn't quite get to the ball. Morgan's turning around with a massive grin on his face, as if it's like the two lads having fun. And I think that I get the impression, I may be wrong, the two of them are close off the field, and I think they're bringing it onto the field. And Des is dead right. If these two can get to optimum realization of their potential and ability, we've got two players that are incredibly dangerous to any opponent, even the big guns at the top. And I think with Jesse, what's weird about Jesse, he didn't really do a lot, and Arsenal poor, and then all of a sudden he blossomed against Tottenham, and I thought he was just as good again yesterday. He's had shots, he scored. I mean, Tottenham Hotspur made one, scored one, and I think the pair of them. My personal view is we definitely need a centre forward, a goal scoring centre forward. It's our priority in January. We don't want too many in January. I think Scarpa coming in one. Maybe a holding midfielder, I don't know, but a centre forward to act as a focal point up front, and to be Taiwo's sort of half there but half not. Jury's still out on Taiwo because he kind of flits in and flits out. We need a centre forward. We may have to pay big bucks for it, but we paid big bucks for Morgan, and we're beginning to get return on our investment. So, but for now, until that centre forward comes in, and I really hope he does, I think that's what our craving. The way these two are playing. And I think they're helping Brennan as well, because Brennan's obviously found it difficult, because Brennan was going to be a marked man. In fact, all three of them are dealing with pressure. Morgan, the fee, Jesse, all this ridiculous judgment of him about TikTok and all that. What nonsense. Utter nonsense, right? Who cares about social media? It's what he does on the field. And Brennan was always going to have pressure because he's the most marked man from the Championship. He was going to be seen as our most dangerous weapon. And really good teams in the Premiership were going to stop him. So I think the three of them, I don't think it's an ideal forward line by any stretch of the imagination, but it's what we've got at the moment. And we may have for the next.
Interesting, Dave. I walked out behind the Palace fans. Of course, I'm in the Bridgeford end, and I walked down Connaught Road. Yeah. And I heard Palace fans going, Morgan gives white, Morgan gives shite. I thought, hang on a minute, because they went. I heard them say, I could understand them paying 15 million for Wolves, but to pay for 40, which we know is a bit of a fable anyway. But I thought, look at your guy, you rate at 50, 60, 70 million quid. Right?
Yeah, Des, mate.
Morgan gives white compared to Zaha yesterday.
Yeah.
Aurier had him in his pocket. Aurier's a washed up, has been Premier League player in everybody's eyes. And he had it in his back pocket. So no question in our star man when your star man was shy.
Yeah, basically. hey, I've got to come back on that because he's
make it quick.
As Elise says, Zaha, we all worried about them, but our three were better than their three yesterday. That is my point. And you know what? If I'm Patrick Vieira, he may have put a spin on it at the end. But if my best player, and probably the best player in my club's history, misses a penalty like that, I'm going to be annoyed. So Des is dead right.
And if you don't know, this is Stan, the dog. So people in the comments, show some love to the dog. Before we do, people in the comments, who was your man of the match yesterday? I'm going to go through the comments before you do. So people get comments, get your man of the match. I see a few, and there's one here called Timothy, and we know what team he supports. Why are you, Timothy? Why are you here? Because you know what we're going to mention, Timothy. We beat your record. But Timothy, thank you for doing the channel. Much appreciated. As well, Des, I think there's someone's not happy with you, Des. Not with you, Dave. Where's that comment? Where is it? Where's that comment?
Don't worry about the door. They're never happy.
No. This is from the man KC Dave. I think he was referring to Man City being the best team in the Premier League.
Well, absolutely. No, hey, let me come back to the great man, because, and he is, and I love listening to him. He's right. Tables don't lie. Arsenal are 5 points better than Manchester. So, Kev, I defer to your greater knowledge, mate. You're dead right.
Kevin, he doesn't apologise. He's lying to you as well. And I've seen a comment as well. We mentioned Ryan Yates in the midfield, Canute as well. I know Des is not a fan of him yet. Whereas Remo Furler, I personally thought again he makes Ryan Yates better. People in the comments, do you think he's getting better and better in that free midfield? Then what do you think of him before we get to man of matches?
What, Freuler?
Yeah, Remo.
Well, I'm not. Tell you the truth, I've not really took much notice of. Do you know what I mean? They just at the minute you're just wanting the team to do well. Do you know what I mean? And you just you kind of focusing on the star points of the three at the front, what Yates is doing and stuff like that. So if it's helping Yates, play him. If it's not, put O'Brien with him. Do you know what I mean? There's always going to be that. Do you know what I mean? Do we stick with O'Brien? Do we put O'Brien to play with Yates? Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. It's a headache for Cooper, and it's not a headache for us.
Don't let me back that up. Right, Foyer is a good footballer.
You liar, Dave. You stop. Don't lie to me. You was criticized. Right, people in the comments. Don't let Mr. Doodilly try and sugarcoat this. He was saying to me,
"Don't tell me with that brush."
Let me tell you my thoughts.
Right,
on
talk
Foyer.
to me then. Talk to me.
Right, Foyer is a technically very, very good footballer. I believe from the very first game I saw him at Grimsby, he needs to be 30 yards further up the pitch.
Yeah.
Making an impact. Right? He plays too deep. He's not a holding midfielder. Forest said it already. Forest have not got a holding midfielder. And what he does, right, whilst it's neat and tidy, I think all it does in the end of the day is make Ryan Yates look bad, because he does pass it well. He's got a good body shape. He's got a good technique. But I'll ask you, what has he done? What has he actually done? Yes, yesterday he played well. Against Liverpool, he played well. Got his foot in, won tackles, won the ball. But what has he done to make him this world-class player everybody said?
I'm not saying world-class. I'm just saying I was with Malcolm yesterday, and Malcolm was the first time I saw him on the Trent end. He does he picks out a pass that no one sees. Like I said, he'll see.
To who? Ryan Yates?
No,
because he doesn't pick out a pass to Jesse Lingard. He doesn't split the defence. All that is down to Ryan Yates or Johnson or Lingard. Who is he playing these balls to? He's playing them sideways. I don't want him passing it to Loddy. I don't. I want him passing it forward, right, to a player that's going to split the defence. And people go on about too many people play FIFA these days. He makes 96 passes, and everyone goes, "Oh, he's the best passer in the world. He's got an 84 rating on FIFA." Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Forget that. Right? We don't play football on FIFA. Listen to Cloughie. I listen to Cloughie videos every weekend. When I'm drunk, I listen to Cloughie videos and I take things out of it. Right? Pointless. It's absolutely pointless what he does, right? Yes, yesterday I give him his credit. Liverpool, I give him his credit. But when he's just playing it to Yates and then Yates is getting battered because he's got two men on him, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. It doesn't make an impact on the game.
Freuler has been too cautious. He's played it far too safe. He needs to be more expansive. Des is dead right. He needs to be further up the field. To me, with midfield at the moment, that midfield three, Yates starts every game. Mangala has to start every game. Mangala keeps the ball better than anybody else. And then, to me, depending on the form and how they play, it's either Lewis O'Brien or Freuler. And like my view on Freuler is when I see a Swiss, I hear he had a brilliant game for Switzerland against Spain a couple of months ago, whatever, where they beat Spain in Spain. I want to see that and the Atalanta form now. And Freuler, to me, has shown glimpses, but glimpses aren't enough. It needs to be more. And I think, you know, I'm kind of with Des.
Dave, didn't he score an header in the box? I've never seen him in the opposition penalty box.
No.
I've never seen him in the opposition penalty box.
No.
So
He hasn't had a shot yet. Not had a shot yet, Des.
Not for me, Dore.
Like I said, I don't find this to me. Like I said, I like him. He's just.
Hey, do you know what to tell you?
Right. If people disagree with Des, come on Des' show tomorrow at 9 o'clock and have a little fight with Des. I'm not fighting.
Come at me. Come on.
Hey, Ben, it says it all. You know, when you asked Dylan, and Dylan kind of went, well, I've not really noticed him, to be honest. I think that sums it up, maybe. That he needs to do more. He needs to do more. His job now is to make Dylan Astill notice him. You know what I mean? And actually, if Freuler can take Dylan Astill's mind off the kind of discomfort he's in at the moment, even better. Do you know what I mean?
People, if you disagree with Des, please come on the show 9 o'clock. Any Forest fan can come on, have a little fight with Des. Please do. If like I said, it's everyone's opinion, right? I mean, everyone's
9 o'clock tomorrow. I'll see you
9 o'clock tomorrow, people. Please message me or message Des, or you can message Dave or message Dylan, and just get involved tomorrow. And any Forest fan can come on, young, old, woman, man, whoever. If you're out of the country, anyone, please just message me or Des. Right, people comment. Who was your man match yesterday, and what was your rating as well for the whole team? Let me start with you, Dylan. Who was your man of the match and why?
Man of the match, you're gonna have to say Yatesy, aren't you? Yatesy, for me. I think they all played well, to tell you the truth, in the end. Do you know what I mean? I got a bit frustrated, just a quick one. I just got a bit frustrated the first half because I just think, you know, with the defence, I just think they allow teams to pressure them and move them forward. Do you know what I mean? They're always tracking back, and then next minute in the penalty box. But I think as soon as Sahar missed the penalty, I think the whole thing just changed second half. It just changed to another dimension. Yatesy, man of the match for me. Performance team-wise, I'd say an 8 out of 10.
I'm just going through the comments, and there's quite a lot of people like Bolly as well. He looks very good as well yesterday. Dave, man of the match. And
Ryan Yates. Ryan Yates all day long. But Dylan's point is correct. They all did well. I thought it was a really gritty, gutsy team performance in a very tough, attritional Premier League game. It was not an easy game. You know, those are the kind of games. I think that game 5-6 weeks ago, we lose it. But yesterday I saw a definite psychological progression in Forest. They were quicker to the closing down as well, which was good. So Ryan Yates embodied that, and a lot of the others then picked up the baton with Ryan and went with him. So there's a lot to work on still, but I thought I'm just going to, like the big man above says, Ryan Yates, 8 out of 10 for the team.
Last but not least, Mr. Do Daly, Des, Mr. Remo Oldham.
Remo Boyer at his best games. So did Bolly, so did Loggy. They had the best games. 3 players I've not always been a fan of on here, but they had their best games. So credit where credit's due. You know, it all added to a good performance. Aurora did what he does. He kept Sahar quiet. And that was, let's not underestimate that. You know, that's a big job. That's a big job because that guy's got star potential and we know what he can do, and we know what he can do by cheating. Let's face it. He can win penalties and he got his foot in on everything. But again, you know, I like the way Lingard and Morgan Gibbs White linked up. But it's Yatesy, isn't it? He was absolutely brilliant. He was everywhere. He was doing what he needed to do. He was spurring on the crowd. He was involved in the football match. He was invested in the football match. You know, whatever was going on around him, he'd got this. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should be aware of what's going on in the crowd all the time and things like that. But He had this presence of mind to know how to play the game. He played the game yesterday, and that was important. And Forest, I've moaned over years about Forest being too nice, being too hairy-fairy, giving in when the going gets tough. And Yates epitomises now that we don't give in when the going gets tough. We roll up our sleeves and we give it a go. And the last 6 games have proved that. We've got plenty of positives to work from. Yates man of the match for about the 4th time in 7 games. You know, he's not just man of the match, he's rapidly becoming the player of the season. But again, we'll probably get shot down for saying that. And
no, we do, because I said I'm not gonna talk about it. We'll get shot down anyway. So
it's a show of its own door, but I'm putting it out there now, and you can get me on dialing with Des. Player of the first half of the season. That's what we'll go with tomorrow. Player of the first half of the season. For me, right. Ryan Yates is coming to the team, proved everybody wrong. He's took it to these established midfields, and like I've said all the way throughout, if you win the midfield in the Premier League, you win the football match. It's as simple as that.
And every victory this season, whether it's in the Cup or in the league, at home. And that home thing now, and Yates embodies it at the City ground. He's making it a difficult place to come and play. And if we're going to stay up, we have to win home games. If we get anything on the road, bonus. But home games. So all four of our games, 2-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. So the 4 wins at home, 4 clean sheets. That's great. Yatesy, by getting the crowd going. The crowd yesterday, I thought, were fantastic. They were involved from the word go. The Palace fans actually made quite a lot of noise. They were probably the best that have been here this season. Yeah. And I think the whole thing was a cauldron. And when you've got a guy like Ryan Yates, and Jesse Lingard was doing it at the Trent end, engaging us in the whole thing, and on the field and off the field thing, that is going to make Nottingham Forest difficult to beat.
100%. And I'll say my last one. I think Ryan Yates, again, I keep banging on about it, but I don't care what anyone says. I got called out for being a Yates lover, but I don't give a flying chicken about it. But yeah, Ryan Yates for me was top class. Like I said, there's a few other players as well. Ollie, Worrell, Morgan Gibbs-White as well. We're not missing Brennan. Brennan come back as well. He's been giving his criticism as well, and I thought he's slowly, like I said, his confidence has been low, but he's a good player, and he will slowly get better when he gets used to the Premier League. But for me, Ryan Yates for me was fantastic. Right, before we go, I've got Indian Fever 11. Good evening from Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you very much for the American as well. Before we go, like I said, it's the last review show for a month. There's quite a lot of content that I'm going to do from now till we've got Blackburn, I think. What day is it, Blackburn? The 19th?
20th or 21st of December.
Yeah, I think it's a Tuesday game. So I will be doing content as well. And as I keep repeating, Des is doing a show tomorrow at 9 o'clock. If you want to come on, please come on. Like I said, I've been criticised for not bringing young people on the program. Like I said, you've seen quite a lot of people like Rads, Jamie, Ellie as well, been on my channel as well. So if there's any young fans as well, if you're over 16, if you make it clear, if you're over 16, please come on and talk to Des or anyone. Just message me, talk about how you feel about the season we've been on, who's been your player of the season so far. And you know what? Before we do go over, I think we've gone over time. We've not spoken about Steve Cooper, have we? We've not even spoke about him. So if you've got time, go through the panel. And people as well, how do you feel about Steve Cooper? He's been criticised for playing boring football and all that. So let's make it short and sweet. Dylan, what do you think of Steve Cooper so far, what he's done?
I'll admit, I'll put my hands up. Love the guy. After the Leicester game, I was like, I think it's time, personally. But then I've had to eat humble pie, which I'm very glad about. And I think now he's 100% the man. Do you know what I mean? Give him time, which we're giving him. And he slowly gets it. He's slowly getting it. And it's a new league for him, a new league for the players, new everything. Do you know what I mean? I still believe now, like I say, humble pie. I'm so sorry that I thought that, but I believe he's the man to take us where we need to go, and he's the only man for the job.
Before we do, there's a comment for you, Des. Evening, guys. Can Stan have his own slot? Is that right, Des?
You can if he's gonna give me peace for an hour.
David, make short and quick about Steve Cooper so far.
The best manager we've had for 23 years. The only manager this century that's achieved anything at this football club. Why would you want anybody else? I've had pelters for being a pro Steve Cooper guy, and those pelters bounce off me. I'm Steve Cooper every day of the week. Gets the club, gets us, gets the players, gets the city. No need to change. Stay with Steve.
Last but not least, Mr. Do Daly.
He is what he is, isn't he? You know, he is Forest right now. He has been for the last 12 months. He came in a sticky situation. He got players playing that didn't work, and all of a sudden, surprise, it's happening again. It's happening again, and these things tend to happen in football, don't they? It repeats itself. So, in summary, you know, who would we want come December, January to take us forward? You know, I look at what Luton have. I look at what Southampton have done. They've gone and got Nathan Jones. But if you was a Forest fan and you had a choice of Nathan Jones or Ralph Hasenhüttl, who would you go for? You go for Hasenhüttl every day of the week. And I just think, let's not get carried away. Let's not get above ourselves. Let's not go thinking these managers could get a better job out of us. Because Nathan Jones won't be in the job in March. I'll bet anyone now. You know, and we've got a manager that's progressive. He can dig in. You know, he's had to dig in. We can see the stress is on his face. The stress is all over his face. But all of a sudden, we're one defeat from 6. We're 18th. We know, Dore, from being around people and having the privilege of talking to one or two at times, you know, not all the time, they're really, really confident we'll stay up. They're really, really confident we'll stay up. And if they're confident, I'm confident.
That's it. I'm okay with that one. Dave or Dylan, can you stop happy clapping, please? Because we get in trouble for it.
I was just agreeing with Des.
But we get in
I was just happy clapping.
Yeah, we get in trouble for it. Right, people, it's been a great show. We've been 3 hours. We've done nearly an hour and a half. But I appreciate, like I said, Dylan, Dave, and Dylan and Des.
Can I just ask one last question, Ben?
You do
Did
it.
anybody correctly guess Dylan's ailment?
Des, don't say nothing. Why? People in the comments.
Yeah, I'll give you a clue. Look down.
No kidding.
Des, you're not having my stickers. That's all I'm going to say. You're not having them. That's all it is. You're not having them. Yeah, he's dead snip.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
At least I got the stickers.
At the snip. Dylan's at the snip.
You know what? That's it, me now. I think I'm done on this channel now.
If you want to go to
credibility's gone up, Dylan.
Right,
Mate, you know full well I would never go on another channel.
Yo, right, people.
Get him on the bus. Just remind him.
Right, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for Dylan, David, thank you, for everyone coming to the channel. There's a comment from you from Craig Kirk and Dill. His missus has them.
She's always had them, mate. She's had them for the last 20 years, my friend.
Oh,
That's like.
But it's been a great show, people. Thank you for everyone as well. Like I said, Des do the show tomorrow 9 o'clock. If you do want to contact me or him to come on the show, please do. Anyone can come on. So just message me on Instagram or Twitter or email me. I'll get you on. I will be doing. I'm doing a quiz on Wednesday. I am doing a quiz, Kahoot quiz on Wednesday, Forest related stuff. So if you wanted to come on Wednesday, have a little fun. I'll get through prizes so you can win as well. Please join Kahoot, and it's going to be a great show. Des not joining in because I know he'll win all the time. So Des, you're not coming on before you ask. People, if you want to join the Kahoot quiz on Wednesday at 9 o'clock, please join in. Right, I'm going to get going. Before you do go, hit the like button. I'm trying to get to 9K people for sharing. What am I on now, people? Have I hit 9K yet? Get me if you can, people. Just subscribe. Subscribe to me. Subscribe to Des. What am I on? I'm on the 12th way, people. Subscribe now. Subscribe now, people. I'll see Des tomorrow, and I'll see you Wednesday for the quiz. Peace and love, people, and have a good week. Thank you very much for watching.